What's up, fellas? Welcome to the garage. Well, also our second race with the Sierra is finished. We've happily arrived back and now it's time to assess the all newly found problems we had with the Sierra. I can say that this race was actually even more exciting than the previous one because we did have an actual breakdown of the car. I did manage to get also some battle scars here. As you can see, the rim and also this arch here have some paint on it. That's because I've touched the chicane a little. But that's fine, you know, there's no real damage here. The chicanes were made out of tires, you know, just painted tires. And also there was no penalty for that, so that's perfectly fine. That oil pan modification we've made the last time performed quite well. The oil pressure was much more stable as seen on the data logs. It turns out we do have quite some more work to do with the tune. I think the ignition map is way too safe and it really isn't producing as much power as we would want. Also, we will be raising that boost pressure very soon. I think now is about the time to do it. Because now, running only 0.3 bar boost, the car actually felt a bit underpowered, you know, especially going uphill. So we will have to crank it up a little. You can see the onboard video of the second run right here. But before I break down the breakdown we had, let's see some clips from the race in Ogulin. So the training went just fine, you know, but when I was turning the car around on the top of the course, I suddenly heard a loud clunk, clunk sounds. And at that moment I knew that something was very, very wrong. I jumped out of the car and taken a look underneath, and lo and behold, the actual control arm that holds the front left swing arm actually broke. And it broke very straight, like you would have cut it or something. So anyways, what I did is I just took some zip ties I luckily had in the Sierra and just zip tied that hanging rod onto the wheel chassis and then slowly drove down while braking only with the handbrake, because if I pushed on the brakes that wheel would slam onto the fender. Cool story, bro. I managed to get down and then the boys in the pits helped us to put the car into place. So then, of course, we lifted the car up and just started with the disassembly. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of how that control arm was before, but I can sketch it for you guys. It was made in such a way that in the front there was a very, very sharp corner. And there it was evident that the control arm was actually broken, you know, the crack started before. So actually I was very, very lucky that that rod didn't break, you know, while driving. And it actually broke while I was practically standing still. So what we did, we actually went through the pits and then we actually got the kind people of Ogulin to point us to a local craftsman, you know, a welder. So actually we went to his shop and just welded the thing back together. This is how that looked like. Again, many thanks to all involved. Then we've actually ground that rod, you know, so it didn't have any sharp corners again. And then mounted it all back together, so I could make it to the other two races we had that day. Of course, I also disassembled the other side and also grind off that sharp edge that was there. So now, without further ado, let's lift the car up and take a closer look to the underside, the suspension, and just how we could make this better, you know, to prevent the cracking of the connecting rods in the future. So here you can see this rod. We got a uni ball here in the back, and here in the front is where it broke. As you can see, this is all welded together now, and there is no really sharp corners. But I'm thinking I should put this sort of uni ball also here in the front. Evidently, because this was bent a little, this surely moves, so it is actually deforming this rod. And if we would install this kind of uniball in the front as well, this tension wouldn't be present at all. And that's what we're shooting for. Besides that, I've also noticed we got a little bit of play here. Just a little bit. This is totally acceptable by my standards. But this one, look at this. This is too much play for sure. So what I'm gonna do now is just put all of this apart and really examine everything. Also these joints here, practically whole front end. Let's do that. Alright, scratch that. If we were to put this kind of uniball in this side also, the swing arm wouldn't be supported in this direction and it would move front and back, while this kind of solid end, you know, keeps it always straight, and the swing arm, you know, just travels in this fashion here. So this is the correct way. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna make this kind of rod again, but much stronger, out of some high-grade steel, and also without any sharp edges, you know, just a smooth transition. And also we'll make this side a little thicker. Alright, something like that. This is 1:1 ratio drawing, so as you can see here, this will be a bit thicker, and also the main point is that this side will be thicker as well. See that? Instead of 9mm thickness here, we'll have 16mm, so that should be much stronger, and this simply won't break. On this side I will have the exact same thread made as here, just, you know, while we're at it, I'm gonna make it a little longer, so we'll have that extra bit of adjustment. We will be able to lengthen this rod even further, if that will make sense at any point. Alright, so I got these made by a great guy, and by the way our sponsor, LBM Machining, and those turn out great. This is some kind of heavy duty steel, so it really shouldn't bend at any load that we'll be seeing on this car. And yeah, just look at it in comparison. It is much thicker. This is 18mm in size, and this one is 24mm. This kind of thickness here in the middle really is an overkill, but this came like this in bulk. And just to keep it simple, we've just made the thread here, and here it just milled away, so we get two straight surfaces here, and also, you know, still keep it very thick, and most importantly without any sharp edges. You know, this is really a smooth transition, and here is practically no way of breaking this. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just put everything together. For a starting point, of course, I will just set it all up as it was, you know, the length, and just try mounting everything back together. Alright, so while we're at it, we're gonna of course also change these ball bearings as well, because those are quite worn. This play is very obvious. So what I did is I actually ordered some new ball bearings along with the housings, because I couldn't find any of these dimensions here. I got the package right here. I haven't even opened it yet, but yeah, let's pop it open and see what we got. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Okay, let's see about the sizes here. Alright, so this will actually try and fit inside the swing arm here. We will have to push these out on the both arms, of course, and then somehow fit these housings inside here instead. Then these uniball bearings come inside here like so, and then we simply secure them with these. We have like a ridge here machined, and these come inside, and just like that these are secured in place. My main concern here is that we do have about a millimeter difference in this diameter here in comparison to this diameter, but housings of this dimension were the closest I could find. So now we're gonna simply push these out and try how much slack will we end up with. We might just weld in these housings, and then we'll be able to simply just swap these for new ones once they wear out. So let's go now and press out these old bearings. So that's it actually. I put this insert or this uniball bearing housing inside there and just put some welds here on 4 spots. There isn't really a need, to weld it all around, and also by doing that I might distort this, which would surely make it more difficult putting these in and out. So essentially this goes just in here like so, and then of course this retaining clip here. And that's it actually. Now I'm gonna just try put everything together to see if I have distorted this maybe already, and then just give it a quick coat of paint, and then this thing will actually be ready for the assembly. I think once installed, these parts just slightly touch on the ball here. So I'm just gonna grind off just a little bit of these edges. I guess this isn't really necessary, but better safe than sorry. Just like so. As I said, this probably isn't necessary, but if it means, prolonging the lifespan of these just a tiny bit, then it's worth it. Alright, so just like that, the ball bearing is installed. But we still haven't finished yet with this swing arm. Because this, of course, won't fit the Sierra. Because, we are still pretty far regarding the installation dimensions, right? We are missing some parts here. But here's where these come into play. Those were again made by our good sponsor, LBM Machining. I just took some measurements and calculated it a little, and this is actually this part. You can't really get those like a universal ones. You have to make them custom to suit your application, on a lathe, of course. So these just come fitted like so. And this is actually our finished result. This swing arm is now ready to be installed. Again, many thanks to our good sponsor, LBM Machining. Now let's refurbish the left hand as well. front suspension revision is done. Now this really wasn't a complete overhaul. We have yet to check the coilovers and everything, but we'll leave that for the next time. As you've seen, this was actually a pretty straightforward job if you have the right parts. I owe a massive thanks to the boys at Rally Junkies from Croatia, who actually pointed me in the right direction regarding the uniballs. Also, again, a massive thank you to our good sponsor, LBM Machining. We now have a brand new control arm with 0 kilometers on them. As you've seen, a very nice piece of manufacturing right there. Now these control arms with this stronger heavy-duty design really are very sturdy and should really last quite some time now. Now let's say we've solved the basics here. But till the race, we do have about a week or so. I'm gonna use that time to try cranking up the boost here a little. Also, as you can see here, I got a brand new intercooler, which I have yet to make the mounts for, but it really shouldn't be too much big of a deal. We'll have to test all of this anyways before the race, so we'll see how it behaves with the brand new suspension parts and also with the boost a bit higher. That's it for today. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Be good!